Hello. Do you make enough money to live a comfortable lifestyle in your city? Maybe go to work by car, pay your monthly bills on time, heck, maybe even have some fun on the weekends without having to worry about going over your budget. Well, depending on where you live, these things are likely within your reach. But the cities we are going to talk about in this video are on the opposite side of the spectrum. You are watching the top 10 most expensive cities in the world. And in this video, I'm going to show you the 10 most expensive cities in the world, how much money you need to live on them, and also why they are so expensive. But before we begin, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you like this type of content, also hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And without further ado, here are the top 10 most expensive cities in the world. Number 10, Tel Aviv, Israel. The 10th most expensive city in the world is Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv is also known as the economic capital of Israel. And as you can expect, there are a lot of high net worth individuals living here, such as Roman Abramovich, the billionaire businessman owner of the famous English soccer team Chelsea, and Arnon Milchan, the successful billionaire film producer and multiple times Oscar nominee. Now, Tel Aviv was ranked by Forbes as the second best city to visit in the world. But on the other hand, it also holds the infamous title of being the most expensive city in the Middle East. So if you are not a billionaire like the ones I just mentioned, brace yourself, because utilities and transportation bills for a middle-class family can easily be worth more than a few couple thousand. And let's not forget about the sky-high price of real estate. The average price of a simple 3-bedroom apartment in a suburban area of the city is more than $400,000. And if you choose to live downtown, be prepared to fork over no less than $1 million for a property. Number 9, Osaka, Japan. And in the 9th most expensive city in the world is Osaka. Osaka is the 3rd biggest city in Japan, and it is one of the biggest business hubs in Asia. So much so that people from all over the world come here to make deals and network with Asia's most successful businessmen. Now, the cost of living here in Osaka is pretty high. If you stack up all costs of living, you will need a little more than $3,000 per month to live as a single person. And as with most big cities, real estate is very expensive. The rent in a 1-bedroom apartment in the center of Osaka costs no less than $1,000. And if you want to buy a property for you to live on, you can expect to pay more than $7,000 per square meter. Some even say it is arguably impossible to find cheap real estate here. Number 8, Singapore, Singapore. The 8th most expensive city on our list is Singapore. In case you don't know, Singapore is located in Southeast Asia, just below Malaysia, and it is one of the biggest business hubs of the Eastern Hemisphere, with lots of opportunities in industries like technology and finance. And that is probably why so many billionaires have chosen to live here. The most notable one being Eduardo Severin, the man who co-founded Facebook alongside Mark Zuckerberg way back in 2004. You see, food, transportation, and other utilities are fairly priced here in Singapore. But what drives the cost of living so high above the norm is the cost of housing and real estate, which is insanely overpriced here. A simple studio apartment can easily cost you upwards of $3,000 per month. And if you think that it is already expensive enough and there is no way prices will go up any higher, consider the fact that Singapore has recently caught the attention of a few international real estate moguls, which are now dying to get their hands on some Singaporean real estate. So it goes without saying that prices are only going up. Number 7, Los Angeles, United States. The next city on our list is Los Angeles. Los Angeles is the 2nd largest city in the US, and it is famously known as the world's capital of the entertainment industry. It is home to the biggest players in the film industry, like Warner Bros., Paramount Studios, and Columbia Pictures. And it comes as no surprise that the richest and most successful people in the industry live here. People such as Steven Spielberg, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Kim Kardashian, just to name a few. All in all, the cost of living in Los Angeles for a single person is estimated to be close to $4,000. But the thing with Los Angeles is that housing prices are ridiculously high. For example, the rent in a 1-bedroom apartment in a suburban area of the city can easily cost you more than $2,500 per month. And if you want to own instead of rent, you would have to pay more than $750,000 for the same 1-bedroom apartment. But even though the price of real estate in Los Angeles is already high, there seems to be no shortage of demand. With every day that goes by, more and more young hotshots and job seekers move to Los Angeles looking for a place in the sun. so it is unlikely that prices in Los Angeles are going to drop anytime soon. Number 6. Paris, France. Now, the 6th most expensive city in the world is Paris. Also known as the City of Love, Paris is one of the most luxurious cities in the world, and it is no surprise that everything here is expensive, from seemingly small things such as drinks and food to healthcare and housing costs. Now, there are a few key reasons why everything in Paris is so overpriced. First, because it is home to some of the most successful businesses in the world, such as Louis Vuitton, BNP Paribas, and Christian Dior, which means Parisian workers are on average very well paid, and there is plenty of money to go around in the city. What's more, millions of tourists from all over the world visit Paris all year long, be it for business trips, honeymoons, or shopping, thus attracting a large influx of foreign capital. The thing about Paris is that it has one of the most expensive real estates in the world, and here's why. Since it is mostly a historic city dating way back to the 12th century, there is little to no space for new real estate developments. And when we combine this shortage of real estate developments with an ever-increasing demand for homes, the end result is a big spike in real estate prices. You will rarely find a studio renting for less than $1,000 in a suburban part of the town. Number 5. New York City, United States. The 5th most expensive city on our list is New York City, also known as the city that never sleeps. What's interesting about New York is that it is home to more than 100 billionaires, such as Michael Bloomberg, David Koch, and Ralph Lauren, just to name a few. And as you can expect, the job market here is gigantic. There are tens of thousands of job opportunities in industries like fashion, sports, and finance. But don't expect to live in the land of opportunity for cheap, because transportation, utilities, and housing prices are sky high. In fact, a single person living in New York City is expected to spend a little more than $4,000 per month on them. And that's because real estate is extremely valuable, and it is getting even more valuable with each day that goes by due to demand. A one-bedroom apartment will rarely cost you less than $2,000 per month. And if you want to buy, the same one-bedroom apartment we are talking about will cost you more than $700,000, depending on where it is located. Number 4. Geneva, Switzerland. The 4th most expensive city on our list is Geneva. Geneva is a synonym of luxury and sophistication worldwide, and that is probably because it is home to the most luxurious brands and franchises in the world, such as Hublot, TAG Heuer, and even Rolex. You see, nothing here in Geneva is ever cheap, especially transportation bills, since gasoline costs on average more than double what you would pay in any major US city. And let's not forget about the price of housing. According to Real Advisor, a website specialized in Swiss real estate, a typical middle-class two-bedroom apartment costs more than $850,000. Overall, the estimated cost of living for a single person in Geneva is more than $4,500 per month. Thankfully, the average salary of a Genevan worker is quite high to compensate for such high living costs. So if you ever want to move to Geneva, you won't have much to worry about. Number 3. Zurich, Switzerland. And the next one on our list is Zurich. Zurich is Switzerland's largest city, and it is known for being the preferred holiday getaway for various world leaders and high-profile people. Now, legend has it that Zurich is expensive because it is very hard to ship goods there. After all, transporting supplies through the Swiss Alps is very difficult and pricey. But it's not just everyday goods that are expensive. Real estate is also massively overpriced. According to Real Advisor, the price of a simple studio apartment in Zurich is a whopping $1,400,000. Now, all things considered, a single person should expect to have a cost of living upwards of $5,000 here in Zurich. So if you ever want to live in Zurich, you'd better have a lot of spare money. Number 2. Ashgabat, Turkmenistan. Now, the 2nd most expensive city on our list is Ashgabat. In case you don't know, Ashgabat is the capital of Turkmenistan, a small country in Central Asia with less than 600 million people. And to be fair, Ashgabat is kind of an outlier on this list. It isn't exactly a hub for business people to make deals, and not a secretive getaway for high-profile people. Instead, it is the capital of a little-known country with almost nothing going for it. Unfortunately, what made Ashgabat the 2nd most expensive city in the world was a series of economic and social problems within the country. It all started back in 2014 when oil and natural gas prices tanked due to local and geopolitical reasons. And since those were Turkmenistan's main profit centers, the country's financial situation started to go downhill. But the crushing blow didn't come until the Turkmen government tried to grasp for more power and enacted a series of tyrannical economic policies, which only brought more financial ruin, social unrest, and rampant inflation to this already poor nation. And this was the perfect storm to wreck the country's supply chain and financial system, which elevated the cost of living to a whopping $500,000. Now, as you can expect, most people in Ashgabat cannot afford it, so food shortages and long lines to get access to the most basic resources like water and food are commonplace. And only time will tell if Turkmen people will ever be able to get out of this mess. Number 1. Hong Kong, China. And the most expensive city in the world is Hong Kong. Hong Kong is located in southeast China. It used to be under British dominion up until 1997, when they gave it back to China. Since then, Hong Kong has transformed itself into one of the biggest business hubs in the world. For instance, they are one of the leading players in the tech industry, and lots of tech billionaires have chosen this place to live and do business, such as Joseph Tsai, co-founder of Alibaba, and Martin Lau, the president of Tencent. Well, like most overgrown cities, Hong Kong has very little real estate to go around, so much so that Hong Kong has the most expensive real estate in the world. For instance, a one-bedroom apartment far away from downtown won't cost you less than $2,000 per month. And the same one-bedroom apartment near the city would cost you upwards of $4,000 per month. And let's not forget about the price of basic utilities, which are also very high here in Hong Kong. Now, after all is said and done, a single person in Hong Kong is expected to have monthly costs upward of $6,000. And that's considering a very modest and frugal lifestyle. Otherwise, you would need more than $10,000 per month. Alright, you've just watched the top 10 most expensive cities in the world. Well, as you could see, most of the cities we have talked about are in Asia, and that is probably due to the fact that Asia is going through a huge economic boom right now. And now I want to hear from you. Which one of the 10 cities we have talked about would you choose to live in if you had the opportunity? Let me know in the comment section down below. And that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and until next time.